Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Xbox Casuals, the Xbox podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Derrigan. Alongside me, as always, is the massively awesome surprise from the developer direct, Josh Finney.
Yeah.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, Corey. I feel like just last week we were speculating on what the secret game was going to be. And
I know.
It's Ninja Gaiden.
2 Ninja Gaidens, technically.
Okay, so we're only talking direct tonight. We're getting straight into this.
Yeah.
Opening the show. Well, first of all, before we get into that, I guess, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this?
I would have said it was probably like an 8, like overall.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah,
wow.
Like an 8, like an 8.5, probably. Yeah, out of 10. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going 10 out of 10 here.
Yeah, I mean.
So I'm going 10 out of 10 when I think about what a developer direct should be. This is what it should be.
I was waiting. It would have gotten a higher score if there was like a surprise, like a big surprise there, like a 5th game where they move the date out of the way and show a 5th game, Josh.
So I mean, we did get that. We got Ninja Gaiden Black 2.
I know we did.
Okay. So I gave it a 10. Not that I think this is like the best showcase Xbox has ever done. This is definitely the best developer direct they've done in terms of layout, announcements, and just like overall production value. This is easy.
The pacing was great. The pacing was definitely
incredible.
Yeah, it was much better than the year that they showed Forza for like 35 minutes.
Oh my god! It was.
Remember that?
That was the first year.
Yeah,
that first developer direct, and like at the time we were like, hey, this is a pretty good format. You know, they should refine it, and they did a bit last year. This year, though, it was a great cadence. We got release dates for everything except Ninja Gaiden, but they did confirm that's this year. Mm-hmm. I was thoroughly happy with this show. There was something for everyone, I think. I will take one comment that I did hear from Greg Miller, who said that if he was in charge of this, he would have swapped around. I want to say, did he say it was Expedition 33 and South of Midnight? He would have flipped those two because he's like, it was so hard to come out of Ninja Gaiden, which is like this fast-paced bang, 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 bang action game, to South of Midnight, which is a lot more subtle. And
yeah, but I mean, there's nothing really good to transition from Ninja Gaiden to, though, in that. And
no,
unless you
like,
went Doom,
you would have had the same complaint no matter what, because what are you going to do? Go to Doom, which is bigger and louder? Then you would be like, oh, they didn't close on a first-party game. Like, there was really nothing to close on, but opening with Ninja Gaiden was awesome. I really like that they just jumped straight to it. I'm not going to lie. I saw the game publishing logo pop up, and I was like, oh, I was expecting a full-on third-party game. I was not expecting to see that Xbox publish this, and it's great. Koei Tecmo is a relationship that they've had going all the way back to the original years of Xbox, even though they gradually became more and more Sony-focused over the years. Even going back to Ninja Gaiden, the Sigma versions were exclusive to PlayStation. And, you know, those are now like the definitive ones. That was in the trilogy that was released a couple years ago now. Seeing that this is coming straight to PS5, not a surprise. I fully expected it to. With the relationship they have with Sony over Neo, what was surprising was Platinum Games.
Yeah,
Platinum Games, man.
Talking about. It's funny because on Pow Block we were just talking about like, what is Platinum Games working on now that everybody left? You know, like what is their thing? What are they doing? It turns out it's Ninja Gaiden 4. That's awesome.
Turns out it's Ninja Gaiden 4, and I cannot tell you how happy I am that Hideki Kamiya is not there during this. I like him as a creative mind, but man, I'm really, really happy that it's just these guys. It's the Metal Gear Revengeance team. So if you like that game like I did, you should be real excited right now.
Yeah, Xbox put Metal Gear Rising Revengeance and Ninja Gaiden Black on sale today. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden Black, the original Xbox one, is $5, which you should go buy it. It's great.
I expect Ninja Gaiden Black to come back to Game Pass this year at some point.
Yeah. Or at least that trilogy they re-released at least at some point.
I'm very, very excited right now. This was a great show. Just the wall, like, I know there was wall running in the old ones, but like fusing the old with the new was such a great idea. Like this, Andy Cortez said this jokingly, but he was like, "This is like 3D Ghost Runner." He's like, "This is like a full or a third person Ghost Runner." He was like, that's what this is." And I see where that comparison definitely comes from, by like the rail grinding and things like that. It felt very like Ninja Cyberpunky. I love the tone of this. It's a new protagonist, and you get to play as Ryu still. So this is awesome. I was really happy they opened with this. I wish we'd had a little bit more footage. We did see the footage a couple of times over. Just some shots we kept seeing repeatedly, specifically the Ryu and the new character's name, which I'm totally blanking on, and I'm
I
upset
don't
that I'm
remember the new
blanking on
character's
it.
name.
I have the article pulled up, and I'm Yakumo. I like that there is a new protagonist, and that's why, like, at first when I saw it, I was like, is this actually Ninja Gaiden? And then like the first execution, like, oh, this is Ninja Gaiden. This is
I thought it was
totally
going to
Ninja
be
Gaiden.
Ninja Blade 2. Remember that weird
I do
knockoff
remember
Ninja
that.
Gaiden?
I do remember Ninja Blade. Yeah. This was a really, really sweet game to open up with, though. Again, like something with a lot of Xbox history. I'm infinitely more happy that it was this and not like Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like there was a lot of speculation.
Yeah,
I will
this fits.
always take
This
a
fits
published
more.
game.
Yeah,
This
this
fits a
fits.
lot more.
Yeah, I mean, just because of the history with Xbox and just the action and how fast paced it just fits way better.
Well, it fits better, but also they really want a game like a Souls-like in the Xbox lineup, and I get that this is coming to PS5. And let's be real, this is a game that if you have a publishing deal with Xbox, you have to put that on PS5. Like the audience for Neo is there, the Bloodborne audience, things like that. Like, yes, you have Elden Ring and Sekiro and Dark Souls and all that, but this is really Xbox's only real road to get in on that. Like they had the partnership for Liza P, and now they have this. This isn't exactly a Souls-like, but that's the only thing I can like really think to. It's like the Souls-like version of like a Devil May Cry almost.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the perfect game for Platinum, right? Because that's
It's
what
a
they're
great game for
good at.
Platinum. Yeah,
That's what they're good at, is that high stakes action, fast paced, stylized. You know, I mean, I think it's
like
why
this.
people like Nier so much. I think it's why people like Bayonetta and Vanquish and all those games they're really good at. So yeah,
well, you have that, and then you had the One More Thing, which when they said One More Thing, I was like, huh, what? And Team Ninja logo comes up, and I was kind of the mind that a lot of people were like, oh, maybe we're getting, it's like a demo is available today.
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. Amazing.
It's a good one.
It has been 21 years since Ninja Gaiden Black came out for the original Xbox.
Yeah.
So this is really cool to see again, remade in Unreal 5. I'm interested to see how this game plays with the better frame rates now and the better fidelity. But yeah, that's awesome, and it came straight to Game Pass. It should be Ninja Gaiden 4 is coming straight to Game Pass also. So that's coming to Game Pass. Nuts. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black is already available. I've already downloaded it. It is an 85 gig game.
Jeez.
Yeah, this thing is massive, but I'm very excited to play it. This was really cool. They love doing those shadow drops, and we got Hi-Fi Rush 2 years ago. Last year we didn't get one, and people were really disappointed. I'm fine with not getting one every year. I think it makes it less special when you get one every single event.
Yeah, because people are when people expect it, it's not special.
Well, like last year, everybody was all upset that we didn't get the Double Fine game, and just like, guys, why are you upset about this? I don't understand why you're upset that you're not getting this.
Right.
So
people need to relax, Josh.
They gotta relax, man. Overall, very, very, very happy with what we saw. I think this is cool, and can't wait. Can't wait to see this. So Ninja Gaiden 4, all we got was fall 2025. If I had to be a betting man, this is probably an August or September release.
This is we're gonna wait and see when Grand Theft Auto is coming out, and then we'll tell you when it's coming out.
It's very funny. I sat down and I'm gonna save this for next week's actual Xbox casuals. But I sat down and mapped out, and we speculated last year this could be the best year ever for Xbox. It's on paper, it's looking like it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not even a joke. But then trying to figure out where the games that are announced for this year are supposed to go is a lot more challenging,
Mm-hmm.
because you have the looming shadow of GTA 6. And the only thing that they have that can release and be foolproof protected from GTA is Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
So
even
I
then,
imagine
like,
Call of Duty does not get a release date until they know exactly when GTA is launching, and then boom, we can drop that within like a week or two of it.
yeah,
We can just do it. It won't matter. So
that'll be interesting.
game number 2, South of Midnight.
This
The
game looks
game continues to
great.
look so unique.
It looks awesome.
It looks
I
awesome. Comes out
really
April
love.
8th.
Yeah, I really love the way it looked. Coming out soon too. I like that too. Like, it really looks great.
Everything that we saw here today, except for Ninja Gaiden 4, is out by the middle of May, and that is so important.
Yeah, but we got Black 2 today. So we have Ninja Gaiden Black 2, Avowed. What's the March game?
You'll have Towerborn is probably March.
Towerborn, yeah. And then South of Midnight, and then we'll get to Doom. But man, what a lineup for the first half of the year for Xbox.
And this is so uncharacteristic of Xbox to pay attention to the first half of the year. They just historically have not. Like, I shouldn't say historically, but for the last like decade plus, they really haven't put any attention on the first half of the year. It's always,
I mean, they've struggled
September,
to put games
October,
out.
November.
Yeah, I mean, they've struggled to put games out regardless, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like we're going to have it. It's good. It's like they're pulling a Nintendo where we're going to have a
dam
new
has
release
finally
every
broken.
month.
It's here. The dam is breaking. Now what we wait and see for is the review scores. Black Ops 6. I would even go back to Age of Mythology last year. Age of Mythology, Black Ops 6, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Incredible start. And now you're going to go on a run that has the 5 games we just mentioned. There's the rumor of the Oblivion remake in June. Outer Worlds 2 is confirmed for this year, although if that one slips, I wouldn't be too upset about it. Fable is confirmed for this year, and I would bet, like, I don't know, $10. I don't have much money. I would bet like $10 that Fable is the direct game this year after the presentation. Just because it hasn't had any stage time yet. Here's a big blowout. It's available in 4 months. Pull a Starfield with it. But God, please be better than Starfield. And then you have whatever Call of Duty is this fall. That's a hell of a lineup, and that's not counting the Gears rumor that's been going around for the last week.
Yeah.
That E-Day is targeting Christmas.
Yeah. I kind of wish they would hold it off, but also, like, that might be like I don't know. I would have waited for the anniversary year for that.
I would have too, but
especially because of how much they have coming out already, and you don't want to release 2 shooters that close together with Call of Duty. Right?
My issue here is you potentially have 3 medieval fantasy RPGs coming out this year. In Avowed, the Oblivion remake, and Fable. And then you would have Call of Duty and Gears back to back. You're never going to have a good time to release a shooter that is free from Call of Duty, unfortunately. That's just how it is.
Yeah, but you could.
I was going to agree with you about I would have saved it for the anniversary, but next year is also the 25th anniversary of Halo, and they're 100% going to go in on Halo next year.
It's true.
Especially if a console does materialize next year, if the handheld really does make Christmas 2026, that CE remake is looking like a more and more like a bona fide lock.
Yeah, and especially if the Master Chief Collection, like it's rumored, is coming to other consoles this year.
I would bet serious money that if the CE remake is real, we get a teaser of it in June. And I think that would come out next November. Like, or they'd be like, hey, CE remake is in production, and here's a little sneak peek at what's in the future for Halo Studios. So they got to do something to get people excited about that franchise again. Gears is also, unfortunately, kind of in that little lull because it's been so long since Gears 5. This year is 6 years since Gears 5.
Yeah, but I think people going back to Marcus and Dom really put a lot of fire under a lot of people, though.
100%. And that's why I think it's closer than we think. Get that out there and then go full tilt in like 2 years with the new one with a revamped multiplayer and things like that. Because next year's going to be the next Infinity Ward Call of Duty. I would much rather release Gears this year if you're able to do it with the quality intact. Release it this fall or early next year when it's just going up against like the Modern Warfare 3 of Black Ops 6, essentially, basically just an
Yeah.
add-on. Year 2 of the content cycle, so to speak, than putting it up against a brand new Infinity Ward Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I would feel better about dropping a CE remake there.
Yeah. I
But
think no, I guess there's not really a great time to drop Gears. And putting it out this year would fall into their kind of 18-month kind of announce and release cadence that they've been doing since Gears 3, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll show it, they'll tease it, and then
teaser, it's out within 18 months.
Yeah, and then the next year they'll show like a extended look at it, and then it'll be out in like 4 or 5 months. Yeah.
But before we can get to Gears, we have South of Midnight.
That's
and
true.
this easily, I mean, far and away, Compulsion's best looking game.
Oh yeah, by far, dude. 100%.
Your competition is We Happy Few. So
the Xbox budget is showing.
The Xbox budget is showing, but also this is a budget priced title. This is a $40 game.
Yeah,
I'm expecting like an 8 to 10 hour adventure here.
Yeah, that surprised me.
That didn't, because they had talked about a smaller scale last year after the game showcase, I believe. They talked about it being a little bit shorter than you would expect from a traditional AAA. I like that we got a peek at the story, because the story is something that's kind of been shrouded in secrecy. Like, we knew it was going to deal with myths of the Deep South. We knew that from both of the previous trailers. I like how they approach it. So the read up on Xbox Wire says, Hazel and her mother are preparing for an impending hurricane. The storm proves massive, causing catastrophic flooding and causing their home to be swept downriver with her mother in it. Its aftermath shows the fictional town of Prospero, located in the southern United States, eerily calm while irrevocably changed from the hurricane's destruction. Here, Hazel will undertake a journey in search of her mother while finding out more about herself and her family's lineage in the process. She will begin to see fantastic phenomena all over Prospero, including meeting Catfish, an enormous talking creature in his own right, stuck in a tree following the hurricane's devastation. Catfish tells Hazel she is a weaver, someone who possesses magical powers and can see how our threads connect to form the woven tapestry of our fates. Some of the spells that they have, and it's kind of like ones that you would expect from a game, like just kind of not generic, but like push, pull, weave are some of the ones that they were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And every monster has a story, which I really, really, really liked. We saw last year in the reveal, Two-Toed Tom, the giant albino alligator.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that was where I think we all fell in love with this game. Like, we got the teaser the year before at the end of the showcase in 2023. I'm like, oh, well, this is interesting, but we want to see actual gameplay. And then you got this and you're like, oh shit, this looks dope. Using the powers to fly. God, man, I can't wait. I can't wait. Canadians making a game about the Deep South. I'm here for it.
Yes.
Something I want to get out ahead of that I'm not really a super fan of them doing is selling premium editions of the games digitally and including early access with it. It's like, bro, this is like a 10-hour game. Why do we need 5 days early access? Like, why not just release it 5 days early for Game Pass members?
Yeah.
That would be my solution here. I understand it for something that has multiplayer in it, or something that has something that's like got 100 hours of gameplay in it, like Starfield, or something along those lines. I don't really get it here. I didn't get it for Avowed. I understand it a little more for Avowed, I guess. I definitely don't understand it here or for Doom. Doom also has this deal, and I don't understand that at all. That's just silly. I think it's silly. Like, if you're into it and you want to go spend the money, go for it. I don't know how much extra it is. If it's like $10, then okay, fine, I might do it. But anything more than that, I'm out.
Josh is out. You heard him.
Cash me out. I'm done. So that was cool. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 was shown after this. This was one of the surprise hits from last year's showcase.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of came out of nowhere. Sandfall Interactive. What do you think about this?
I mean, I think it looks and seems interesting. This definitely has a it definitely looks better than this, but it has that feel of like um Immortals of Avium, or what was that one that just came out that they just laid off half the studio, the Awaken 9 or something. What was that game
Something
called?
like that.
Yeah. Like it has that kind of feel to it where like
Mm-hmm.
it has potential, but like, is anybody really interested in this? Like, I hear more people more interested in this than like Immortals of Avium, right? But like, I don't know. I'm kind of getting that feel from it. But it is interesting that they're taking the JRPG approach to a
Mm-hmm.
game that essentially looks like it's essentially like a JRPG version of The Order is what it feels like.
So I was saying this earlier. This feels kind of like Persona's turn-based combat
Mm-hmm.
meets like Final Fantasy 16.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
because
because it has
there was
that real
some
time element.
yeah, there was some real-time element to it, and then there's a turn-based. I'm all in on this. Also, kudos in the UI is beautiful in this game. The UI explaining what all of your abilities do right there is really nice because a lot of RPGs don't do this. They expect you to
Yeah.
just know.
Mm-hmm.
Or you go into a sub menu to look at them while you're, in combat. And I really appreciate that this game does not do that. The skill trees look really in depth. I like that the director of the game was being like, yeah, I'm the only person at the studio who plays a character this way. Everyone else plays her totally differently, and that is your choice within the game. It feels very metaphor in that regard with the archetype system. You can play
Mm-hmm.
anybody the way you want to. So big fan. This looks really cool. Our buddy Ben Starr is in it.
He is. He
He's
is.
in it.
He
He's
plays
in it. There's a few other folks in this game that
yeah,
are
the
pretty
voice
big.
cast is pretty prominent.
Ben Starr, Andy Serkis, and Charlie Cox are all in this. Jennifer English as well.
Yeah.
So
Charlie Cox, for those who don't know, is Daredevil.
yes, which that trailer was awesome. Oh, funny enough, the creative director actually has said that he's actually said that they took inspiration from Final Fantasy and Persona specifically.
Oh, well,
So
that makes
hey,
sense.
cool. Yeah, but
Josh was like, I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in. They've been at work on this for 4 years. This is kind of coming out of the initial like COVID period. For this game to be developed in 4 years and for it to look as polished as it is fantastic.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a shorter RPG though, like like one of those
Yeah,
25-ish to 30-hour ones instead of like a 100-hour one,
I
right?
would be
Like
totally fine with that.
because it looks
25 to
great.
40 is a perfect length for a good RPG.
Hmm.
We don't need a bunch of bloat. 25 to 40, I guess, like get the leveling done, get the main quest done. Like if you want to add extra shit in, go for it.
Hmm.
To like add it to like 60, 65, but it needs to be meaningful content.
Right, especially for a new IP like this, right?
Yes.
So,
But for those of you who don't know, Sandfall, this is their first game ever. It's being published by Kepler, who Kepler has very quietly become a very good publisher in a short amount of time.
mhm.
Their first game was back in 2022. This is the list of games they have published in 3 years: Sifu, Scorn, Tikia, Altos, Pacific Drive, Cat Quest 3, Flintlock Siege of Dawn, and now Expedition 33. That's a pretty good list.
Mhm.
Let's not mince words here. Flintlock obviously like kind of depends on how you overall felt about it. It got kind of mixed reviews, but just about everything else went over real well with folks.
Yeah, Tachia is a favorite over, on our side.
Tachia.
It's
I keep calling it
yeah,
Tikia. Tachia.
it's okay. Um, yeah, it's they've been doing some interesting games. I mean they seem to pick pretty well. Flintlock was I wouldn't say it's a miss, but it was definitely you know a choice, I guess. But like you said, it depends on how you feel about it.
For sure.
You either liked it or you didn't. There was not really like an in between. It was fine.
Yeah, I think it's been fine. Sifu, people love Sifu. Scorn was really okay. But it's an interesting game to like have under this label. Cat Quest 3 heard great things. If you're really into those games, Pacific Drive was one of those that people really seem to latch onto if you just played it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, God man, Kepler, maybe being, one of they're an indie publisher, but the games they're publishing aren't like traditional indies. They're a little bit bigger than that. So
Mm-hmm. It's more
I'm
like the return of the AA space
that's what I was
almost.
gonna say. It really feels like a new AA publisher that hasn't been swallowed by Embracer Group.
Mm.
So, very, very, very interested to see how this one turns out. Of course, day one with Game Pass, they made sure to keep drilling that home. Very excited about that. And our
Hopefully
final
that
game.
hopefully that Game Pass bag keeps the studio open.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, I hope so, dude. This seems like a game that like Kepler is really pushing to. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen just increasing amounts of like previews for this game and just discussion about this game steadily since last June's showcase.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited. I'm very happy that, hey, we got a game revealed and it's coming out within like 8-9 months of being revealed. Cool. And it coming straight to Game Pass, and it's coming out a few weeks out there after South of Midnight and a few weeks before Doom. It's going
Mm-hmm.
to be right in there around the Switch 2 launch, but I'll be pulling up for this. I'm absolutely
Yeah.
pulling up for this. It may get pushed to the backlog just a little bit because of Switch 2 stuff and Doom, but I'm absolutely pulling up. I can't wait for this. I've been looking forward to it since last summer. I raved about it on our E3 review show.
Yeah.
But Corey, the big daddy of them all.
Yeah. It still looks great. It
Probably
looks
the best showcase we got today.
Yeah, it was really
No
good.
surprise. id Software is back. Doom the Dark Ages. It is a prequel to Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. This looks incredible.
Can I just say before we get into the game itself, the
Oh
way the
yes.
way the way this ended, like the presentation with the game director and the kind of like the front facing people of the presentation stood in front of their entire team was like, I don't know. It was like a feel good moment of like showcasing your entire team sitting behind them instead of,
It
just kind of,
was awesome.
yeah.
I was so excited to see that because so often when we get these, we get like a couple of words here and there
Hmm.
from people at the studio, but they really went in depth on explaining this one, and I think they know that Doom is going to be the big sales hit out of the 4 games that were shown today.
Hmm.
Ninja Gaiden Black 2 notwithstanding. They knew this had to hit. Doom Eternal is beloved.
Hmm.
That game, like it
Doom
didn't get the
2016
it's
too.
funny, like Doom 2016 has been like steady. It's been steadily selling for near a decade now. And it
Hmm.
got good reviews when it came out. Don't get me wrong. Doom Eternal was kind of on another level entirely. It just got overlooked because it came out right as the pandemic started, the same day as Animal Crossing. And I don't think
Hmm.
people really wanted to go slay demons when you could build happy homes instead. And also, Final Fantasy VII Remake came out 10 days later, along with Persona 5 Royale for PS4. So, yeah, that game still sold like 6-7 million copies, though.
Hmm.
It was nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards, I believe, in 2020. And just generally beloved. I did appreciate there was a story that came out from Steven Totillo on his GameFile newsletter over on Substack. If you haven't read it, great resource. He puts out great interviews and great articles all the time. He got to sit down and talk to id, I guess, in advance because there were already previews of this game today.
Hmm.
I think Inverse had one also. And he said that they were like, yeah, we didn't do multiplayer for this game. And they were like, oh, well, why did you decide to make just a solely single player Doom experience? They're like, did you see the Cyber Dragon and the mech that are pilotable in game? Yeah, us getting rid of multiplayer allowed us to put more resources into doing those and making sure they weren't one and dones. And they made
Yeah.
sure to emphasize that in the footage shown today. These are not one and done experiences. There are multiple instances where you will use these and you can
That's
level them
amazing.
up and things like that. That is fantastic. How many times have we gotten a cool gimmick and we just haven't gotten to enjoy it?
Multiple times. Multiple times, Josh. Multiple times.
Multiple times. The shield looks so much cooler than I could have ever imagined
Yeah.
in practice. Like it's got its own like combo skill trees. I love that they're emphasizing exploration. The biggest areas ever seen in a Doom game. guys, we're going to places of the Doomslayer's past too. Like, this is this would not surprise me if this was maybe the end of Doom for a little while.
Oh yeah, no, I feel like this is this feels like, hey, we're gonna go away for a while, and then when we bring out the Doom 3 or whatever,
Yeah,
it's gonna be like a massive thing. But I feel like it's gonna do something different after this for a hot minute.
I think so too, because Doom Eternal's DLCs kind of end with the Slayer going into hibernation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really curious to see what they end up doing for the future of this franchise, because I think Doom is one of those things, like if we saw it like once every like 10 to 12 years, we'd be perfectly fine, because every Doom game is good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every time a Doom game has been made, it's been good, and we've always had a lengthy amount of time between Doom entries, with the exception of this sort of new trilogy that we've had, right? So
Yeah, but
you had
it's, I
Doom
mean, it's
1 and
still been
2 in the
5 years.
well, I mean, Doom 1 and 2 came out in the early 90s. You didn't get Doom 3 until like 2004.
Right.
And then you didn't get another one until 2016.
Right.
So, and then you got Eternal 4 years later. Now you're getting this one 5 years later, which, let's be honest, that's COVID delays and whatnot. Also, they did DLC for the previous one. We know from the FTC leaks that Doom Dark Ages was probably intended to be last year at some point. But hey, we got it, and it looks awesome. This game looks ridiculous in the greatest way.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Them emphasizing that they wanted to bring the classic Doom gameplay loop into the modern era, like showing the strafing. Oh my god, I was so excited. This is a love letter to first person shooters. And
Mm-hmm.
if this is Doom's not swan song, but it getting put in a sarcophagus like the Doom Slayer for a little while, what a hell of a way to go out.
Yeah.
I
It's
can't
good.
wait. This, Avowed, and South of Midnight are getting reviewed on this show. We will be reviewing these because I will be playing all three of these extensively.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
Yeah.
wait. This looks just great. And I know I sound like I'm just like gushing like I'm 10 years old again, but the last time I was this excited for a Doom game was Doom 3, and I was like 12 years old.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, Doom's another one of those like classic franchises that has Xbox roots. Doom 3 was an Xbox exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those kind of like Morrowind, like, oh, it's only PC and Xbox. And so it
Yep.
kind of makes sense. Like Doom's home.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned. And we all knew this was coming to PS5. Like, we knew that the second that they announced the Bethesda purchase, oh, the next Doom game, they probably just won't make it a sequel to Eternal. Like, no, that doesn't matter. The franchise still existed elsewhere, and you lose nothing by this game coming to PS5. I want to be super clear to anybody who's bent up about exclusives. You are losing fucking nothing by this and Ninja Gaiden being available elsewhere.
Right.
Fucking nothing. Now, it does bring up another conversation that will have to happen at some point about how much do platform exclusives actually matter in 2025, and the answer is like kind of a lot if you care about hardware sales. It's clear Xbox has moved beyond that. This show was indicative of that. They've moved beyond that.
Yeah, especially like, I don't know how much you've been keeping up with the Switch 2 leaks or whatever, but this game is also slated to be coming to Switch 2 at some point.
So yeah, I'm interested to see that, because I need to see the final specs on this console. We've heard things ranging from base PS4 to the power of the OLED Steam Deck, and I need to know exactly where this lands, because if it can run Doom the Dark Ages like solidly, because listen, Doom 2016 was a little rough on the Switch.
I know, I reviewed it on Palblock.
So were the Wolfenstein games. They're all a little rough there.
I know, Josh. I reviewed them on Palblock.
But if you have the power, 4 of them, if you have the power of even the base Steam Deck in the Switch 2, you basically have the power of the Series S. So, and that should be the benchmark. That should be where we're aiming for. Even if it takes a couple years to like come out with another unit that hits that should be our benchmark. We are hitting a point where it is really, really, really hard to make better graphics than we already have. It's going to be all about fidelity, about refresh rates, things like that going forward, frames per second. It's going to be all about that.
Yeah.
It's going to be less about graphics, because people cannot afford the most powerful rigs.
Mm-hmm.
And home
Yeah.
consoles can only handle so much. Like home consoles are hitting a plateau. The Switch 2 is kind of coming out at a perfect time where everyone is now trying to compete with the Steam Deck. Nintendo and Steam are kind of dictating where we're going to go in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And that's awesome. I
Yeah.
love that. If we're going to go to a digital future, that's what I want.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
think,
already mostly digital with my Switch as it is.
Yeah. I think, you know, from what I've been seeing and hearing on the Switch 2, like it's going to probably be in handheld, at least be around the power of a base PS4, but the NVIDIA tech that's inside of it, it's gonna try to, upscale and try to do frame regeneration or frame generation and stuff to kind of smooth things out, which, you could go either way on that. But the dock is going to have some power in it this time, it seems.
The dock, yeah. So I want to be really clear. When it's docked, it will have the power of the Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm.
Undocked, I still don't think it's going to have that, because look at the price of a Steam Deck without the dock, man.
Yeah.
So, but overall, like, just kind of coming out of Doom, this was such a good show. I would offer one critique. Avowed comes out in a month and no mention of it during this show. I understand it. It's probably because you showed it last year. This feels like a really missed opportunity, because whenever I tell people I'm excited for Avowed, they're like, "Oh, what's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's Obsidian." And like, people who aren't us, who consume this all the time, are like, "Obsidian." I'm like, Outer Worlds, Knights of the Republic, Fallout New Vegas. Like, oh, okay, like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Like, yeah, it's like their answer to Elder Scrolls.
They should have. And even if they didn't say anything, they should have put up a screen that had like, okay, here's our release calendar of games, right? Okay, Ninja Gaiden Black 2
for Avowed, and to let us know when Towerborn is coming to consoles. Because that is, like, I sound like I'm sounding broken, or I'm beating a broken drum, but I really, really, really like that studio, and this looks like Castle Crashers reincarnated. I'm very excited to play this game.
Mm-hmm.
So I need it on console to be able to enjoy it. But yeah, that would be my only critique. So I guess I would bump it to like a 9. I would bump it down from a 10 to a 9.5, just because no dates for those games. Or we already know when Avowed is coming, obviously, but no mention of those. I'm not saying Avowed needed a whole section, but just something at the end, like running like a quick trailer for it, would have done wonders. Like your launch trailer.
Yeah, at least a reminder, right? Like,
yeah, just a reminder to folks that, hey, this is coming out. It's hitting Game Pass Valentine's weekend. This and that. My partner is going skiing during that time of early access, so I'm like, yes. So I'm really looking forward to playing Avowed while she's out of the house, getting as much in as I can for that weekend. But yeah, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, I just I really like these, and
I love these. This is my idea of a direct.
I wish they would do them more often. I mean, I know they don't really have the games, like the amount of games, like, like Nintendo has one like every 3 months, right? Like that's too many for something like Xbox, right? But I wish they had one like twice a year.
My only thing I would say to that is, and I do think you're getting to a point where they're going to have to do one twice a year. I would really like to see one in January, February. Do your summer showcase at the beginning of June, and then do another one maybe in place of your Gamescom showcase.
Yeah.
Instead of doing just some half-assed thing, maybe do one in at the end of August to showcase your fall slate, and maybe tease something for Q1.
Like somewhere in between Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show to appease both of those audiences, right? Like maybe show 2 Japanese games and 2 first-party games or something.
The thing I will say that I like over the Nintendo Directs and over the State of Plays, especially, that they do here, is it feels a lot less corporate. You're actually letting the developers talk. Like with Nintendo, it's always the same voice narrating it, and like, oh, here's the most bare bones thing we can possibly talk about in regards to the mechanics for the game, unless you get a game specific direct, which are way better.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Master Chief Collection to be announced in a Nintendo Direct and have the announcer guy.
The goofy ass voice. I need them to just bring in Steve Downs to announce it. Honestly, you know how much gold you would make. I do feel like Microsoft would step in and be like, "Hey," because I've grown convinced that Microsoft's going to have a small part to play in that games lineup reveal. I think they're going to get like 3 minutes to just talk.
Yeah.
But well, we'll save that
I mean,
speculation.
we'll see. I mean, we
I want
can.
to say that for next week. We're still getting some details, and some more stuff should be coming out. There's a rumor going around that we're going to get some more Xbox news tomorrow. By the time this posts, there may be more news coming out. Tom Henderson at Insider Gaming said that as soon as we got the Ninja Gaiden Black 2 reveal, he goes, "That's not all. There's still more to come." Smiley face. And then when it didn't happen during the direct, he was like, "Wait, what the fuck?" He said that
Jeez.
he has heard that there was supposed to be a Final Fantasy announcement and a Gears announcement of some kind this week. The Final Fantasy one, I'm pretty convinced is being saved for April. I think that's going to be one of those, hey, Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming to the Switch 2 at launch, and oh, by the way, in a press release, it's coming to Xbox Game Pass
Yeah,
also.
Xbox. It comes to Xbox, like the Xbox Wire post goes up the same time. Yeah.
A friend of mine did speculate with me that he feels that when 16 is announced for Xbox, because that's the other one that's been talked about a lot, when 16 is announced, that it'll be like just a quick trailer during the Microsoft conference this summer. It'd be like, oh, the award-winning Final Fantasy 16 is now available on Xbox, the complete edition, blah, 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 blah. So I do wonder if that's going to happen. I think there's also probably some still exclusivity with that because the DLC just finished coming out last year. There may still be a moratorium on that getting announced. The Gears thing, I personally think I think the Gears collection is actually happening. That's just something you can put out and dump on Game Pass. We just did it with Ninja Gaiden 2. You can do it with the Gears collection.
My theory with that though, like the Gears collection, it's not because they want to get a remastered version out. It's because if they're moving away from consoles, your 360 catalog's going away. So like you need to get at least your first party games off of the 360 and onto modern hardware.
Yeah, but those games are already available via Game Pass.
Not on PC.
Not on PC, no. And that's the thing, is this would be for PC. The move is also speculated that it would mean that the original Gears trilogy goes to PlayStation and Switch 2, which I'm personally not subscribing to that theory just yet. I know people have said, oh, it's happening. These people also said Forza Horizon 5 was coming to PlayStation last August, and it didn't happen. So until I see concrete evidence that a Gears, Forza, Halo, or Fable game is going, those four pillars are staying on Xbox.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned, I think they're staying there for at least this generation. Like Master Chief Collection or a Marcus Phoenix Collection going, okay, who cares? That will actually help revitalize interest in those franchises.
Yeah,
but I still don't think it's happening just yet. That's going to be a huge deal when they announce it. It'll be in the lead up to like Xbox 25 next year. So I would expect an announcement maybe in the summer on that stuff. The other thing is the Oblivion announcement was kind of thought to be coming, but apparently is being targeted to happen probably on the anniversary of it in March. The rumor is it's coming out this summer. If the details on that are to be believed, I don't know if it's making a summer release. I could see them coming out though. If E-Day really is targeting this fall, coming out at the summer showcase and saying, oh, by the way, the remasters of like true remasters, because Gears Ultimate Edition sucks. True remasters of Gears 1, 2, and 3 are available right now, today on Game Pass. Would break the internet. So we'll see. It's only a couple short months to the summer showcase.
Yeah.
Beginning of June, I know, God, I say a few short months. It's actually a really long time, but it's going to feel short with all these games. And that's just stuff we saw today. Like, think about the other massive games that we know February is an onslaught.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we saw Assassin's Creed move right on out of the way.
There is something to be said about the Nintendo Direct model. I guess just like my last thing on this before we wrap up. I like the Nintendo Direct model because they show everything that's coming, not just first party stuff. It's first and third party, so it gives a lot of smaller games and like family games time to shine where they otherwise might be lost at Sony or Microsoft shows. But this kicks the shit out of State of Plays. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've never been impressed with the State of Play, to be honest with you.
I think they have done one or two that were really good, but the ones that are really good have been labeled PlayStation Presents. I think to that awesome showcase they did in September 2021 when we got Wolverine and Spider-Man 2 announced back to back. I think of that show a lot. And Sony just hasn't matched that energy since. The one show that should have matched that was last year when they revealed Marathon and the final, or I guess, God, a year and a half ago now, summer 23, you got Marathon and the Final Shape announced back to back, but
Mm-hmm.
like everything else that was in that show outside of Helldivers, it's just like kind of come and gone or been
Yeah.
canceled.
Yeah. Yeah. Or been canceled.
So, but I will say, like, Sony occasionally does surprise me with the state of play. Like, we got a solid one last year where we got the stuff about Death Stranding, about Kojima like doing weird film shit with Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you got the one with Astrobot. The one with Astrobot was pretty good. Like, aside from the 10 minutes of Concord that we got, the Astrobot was pretty good. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Sony, I feel, gets the guns pulled out on the third party stuff, but when it comes to showing their own stuff, it's just kind of like, are we sure? Like, you usually have like one or two super killer announcements, and everything else it's like, oh, this is like a major third party game like Final Fantasy or Resident Evil 8 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So interested to see what we get. There's rumors of a state of play in February. How does Sony respond to this? And then, God, we're all just looking at the beginning of April 2nd for that Nintendo Direct.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is April. It is April 2nd, right?
It's April 2nd. Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it was April 2nd because there's rumors of a regular Direct for
In February. Yeah. About the first half of Switch, like the first half of the year for Switch 1 games.
Mm-hmm. Are we finally going to see the Wind Waker Twilight
Nope.
Princess double pack?
It's not going to be a double pack. I don't know why people keep saying it's going to be a double pack. They're
I'm joking. I knew this was going to set you off. That's why I said it.
I know you are. Like when I see people, I'm like, you really think they're going to pack 2 Zelda games together?
No, they don't want $100. They don't want 50, but they want 100.
The only double pack you're going to see, Josh, is the Metroid Prime 2 and 3 collection.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, like, as much as we love Metroid here on this show, Metroid is not a seller.
No.
Metroid Dread is maybe the best Metroid game ever, and it is the highest game at 4.5 million.
Yeah.
So I'm not holding my breath here, guys.
Yeah, it's sold more than every other 2D Metroid game combined,
which is
4.5 million.
Ludicrous, the way that Metroid Prime or Super Metroid is talked about, for example.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that going to do it for us tonight, Corey?
I think so. Unless you have anything else you want to talk about.
I do not have anything else. I want to go more in depth on some of these topics next week.
Yeah, we got a show next week.
There's gonna be a hell of an Xbox Tower casuals tonight.
Oh geez, yeah. It's a beefy one. So Josh, oh God. On that note, Josh, thanks for hanging out tonight, and everybody out there, thanks for listening to Xbox Casuals. We'll see you with our next regularly scheduled program next week. Goodbye, everybody.